Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk have a combined net worth of around $500 billion. As impressive as they both are, which one is the better billionaire? Let's start with the easiest competition we can give these guys. How much money do these billionaires have? This is actually the fiercest head-to-head competition the two businessmen have been fighting. Jeff Bezos was the first centibillionaire and was labeled the richest man in modern history in 2018 when he hit $150 billion. When Elon Musk jumped to $200 billion in September of 2021, he became the richest man alive. He has even joked that he was going to send Jeff Bezos a silver medal in the mail. Joke's on him though, cause I bet he'd have to buy it on Amazon. So where do the two mega billionaires land today? Well, Jeff Bezos is worth $201.7 billion as of the time of this video, and Elon Musk is worth $297 billion. Just to put that in perspective, here's how much that is in rice form. Numbers, or rice, are pretty simple, so this one's a lock. Put a point on the board for Musk. Jeff Bezos certainly knows how to buy houses like he's one of the richest men in the modern world. Let's start big with his legendary, record-shattering $165 million mansion in Beverly Hills. It is an elegant 12,254 square foot home right off of Sunset Boulevard. The 8-bedroom, 10-bathroom brick home was built by Warner Brothers Studios founder Harry Warner in 1923. It's literally a piece of Hollywood history that also features a koi pond, European gardens, a waterfall and pool, a game room, and some of the best architecture in Los Angeles. I think the only way to top this house would be to literally build a mansion inside the Hollywood sign. Bezos is also obsessed with this Fifth Avenue building in New York. He just dropped $16 million on a 3-bedroom condominium, which is the 5th time he purchased a whole floor of the 24-story building. He spent well over $80 million to acquire one of the nicest slices of NYC real estate that has pretty much every amenity you could want. Though really, it's got an amazing view of the city he's likely to own all of one day. The most impressive of his many properties is the $78 million 14-acre estate on the island of Maui. It has a 4,500 square foot main house, a 1,700 square foot guest house, and a 700 square foot pool surrounded by a volcano, because the giant estates in Los Angeles and New York weren't dramatic enough. He's also got a 30,000-acre West Texas ranch, a classy $23 million DC home, and a $10 million spot in Medina, Washington. Knowing Bezos, I assume the first mansion on the moon is only about 10 to 15 years away. Elon Musk has also owned some of the nicest homes in the world, but don't expect him to build a house on Mars anytime soon. Let's start with his $32 million San Francisco home. The 16,000 square foot, 7-bed, 7-bath estate was built in 1912. It's one of the nicest homes you'll ever see, with a giant ballroom, a grand library, and one of the classiest kitchens ever made. He's also owned 3 Bel Air homes that are collectively worth $62 million. One of which was a modern mansion sitting on 1.5 acres of prime California land with 6 bedrooms and 7 baths. This seemed to be a cozy place for him to play music, mess around with video games, and hang out with his 5 kids in style. Despite how amazing all of these homes are, he's successfully sold them all. He has vowed to own no home so that he can focus his capital on all his Mars dreams. Supposedly, he lives in a $50,000 prefabricated tiny house. Honestly, I think Musk bowed out of this one when he moved into the tiny house. I mean, I know a lot of people love tiny houses, but this channel is called The Richest, not the smallest. Point Bezos. So a guy like Jeff Bezos obviously has a lot of pressure on him to own an amazing car collection. He did rise to the occasion. Let's start with his limited edition Koenigsegg CC-XR Trevita. By limited edition, I do mean limited. Only 2 exist, and one of them is owned by Bezos. That's why it's worth $4.8 million. That and the diamond weave carbon fiber finish. The car has a top speed of 254 miles per hour, and it'll go from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. It is the fastest car in his collection, but not the most expensive. Now we have one of my personal favorites, and the first purchase when I become richest man in the world, the Bugatti Veyron Mansory. There were 3 Mansory editions ever built, and there were only 200 Veyrons made, period. So the rarity of this car also adds to this $3.4 million. It can fly at speeds of 252 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 speed of 2.5 seconds. Really though, this one is all about that Bugatti style, which for many is unmatched. Of course, for many the unmatched style has only one name, Lamborghini. So Bezos had to have at least one Lambo. His is the Lamborghini Veneno Roadster, worth $5 million, making it his most expensive. Only 9 of these were ever built, which seems to be a big selling point for Bezos. It can fly down the highway at speeds of 221 miles per hour and an acceleration time to hit 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds. One of the only remaining high-profile brands on my Jeff Bezos bingo card is a Ferrari. Bezos hasn't disappointed in this regard either. He's got a Ferrari Pininfarina Sergio worth $3 million, of which only 6 were built. This car can hit 202 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 time of 2.8 seconds. Finally, we have the Lykan Hypersport worth $3.4 million. It can hit 245 with an acceleration of 2.8 seconds. It closes out what is truly a giant flex of a car collection. This puts a lot of pressure on Elon Musk because he's not only the richest man in the world, but he also runs a car company. So bring it, Musk. His first car was bought in 1994 when he purchased this 1978 BMW 320i for $1,400. I imagine driving this clunker, who'd seen its best days go by probably a decade before he bought it, inspired him to start a car company. In my mind, when one of the wheels came off after an accident in 1996, Musk looked to the sky and vowed to make a better way to drive. Apparently, Musk's love of cars was sparked long before he literally drove the wheels off of his first BMW. He was given a book about classic convertibles when he was 17. One of the cars, the Jaguar E-Type, was the one that held his interest. This sleek ride could go 151 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 time of 7 seconds. At that time, he promised himself he would buy one, a promise he would keep when he picked up one for only $40,000. When Elon sold PayPal, he seriously leveled up his ride. He started driving the rare McLaren F1 apparently as often as he could. This doesn't surprise me because this sleek car can hit 231 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds. Of course, those high speeds are probably what led to him wrecking the car beyond repair. This made the apparent $1 million he dropped on it a complete loss since he didn't even insure it. As far as Teslas go, obviously Musk owns a few of their best. He has the Tesla Model S luxury ride valued at roughly $92,000 and the Tesla Cybertruck worth around $40,000. Musk's silliest car by far is his Lotus Esprit submarine car from 007 The Spy Who Loved Me. While he purchased this for $920,000, mostly for its pop culture value, he actually said he was going to try to make one for real. You might be able to drive your own Tesla submarine not too far in the future. His most impressive car, in my opinion, is his Ford Model T. This was the car that revolutionized the industry when it came out in 1908. What better gift could you give someone who wants to shake up the automobile industry? So how do we rate these two against each other? Honestly, the race here is pretty close. Bezos has a lock on more modern cars, but Elon has some impressive classics. Honestly, I think I have to give this one to Musk. Sure, Bezos has some of the fastest, most impressive cars money can buy, but you can't beat a classic. A Jaguar, a James Bond spy car, and a Model T. Bezos may be able to take him in a street race, but Musk's garage can't be beat. Just try not to wreck any more of them, okay? These are two of the most extravagantly rich human beings living on Earth today. So naturally, we have to look at the crazy billionaire things that they've bought over the years. For starters, Elon owns a Tesla ruby and diamond ring worth $37,000. This ring was made by celeb jeweler Ben Baller, specially for Musk. It is a beautiful piece of work, and I'm not sure if he's ever even worn it in public. Then there's his reportedly $70 million private jet that was custom made for the billionaire by Gulfstream Aerospace in 2015. It's a Gulfstream G650ER. Apparently, he needed a jet like this so that he could travel uninterrupted whenever necessary. There are 4 different luxury living areas to make this the most comfortable flight to relax, work, or pass out until landing. His new minimalist lifestyle has put a big block on his billionaire spending now. Along with his homes, he has also apparently sold most of his material possessions. Say what you want about the man, but he tends to go the extra mile. On the other hand, I don't think Jeff Bezos has ever considered a minimalist lifestyle. By far the craziest billionaire thing Bezos, or possibly anyone, has unveiled is a giant clock that ticks once a year. This $42 million, 500-foot tall mechanical clock is supposed to last for 10,000 years. Apparently, it was supposed to symbolize long-term thinking. I think he needed help with short-term thinking on this one. In this particular case, do we even need to go on? I don't care how much Elon Musk drops on jewelry or jets, nothing tops a $42 million yearly ticking clock. No one can compete with Bezos in this arena. In many ways, Bezos and Musk are seriously trying to become real-world equivalents of fictional billionaires like Lex Luthor and Tony Stark. You know which one is which. So when it comes to business, which one is closer to comic book levels of success? In 1994, Jeff Bezos started what would become Amazon.com out of a garage in his house in Washington State with a $250,000 loan from his parents. Originally, the site was designed only to be an online marketplace for books to compete with the likes of Barnes & Noble. He named the company Amazon after the largest river in the world to match his hopes of making the largest bookstore in the world. Well, he certainly did that. But he also expanded the company to selling pretty much everything else you could think of. It launched original tech products like the Fire Phone, the Kindle, the Amazon Fire Stick, and more. It has also acquired other companies like Whole Foods and Twitch. It also launched a streaming service called Amazon Prime, which makes original programming and houses non-original programming. Now Amazon is the most successful market retailer in the world. It has been valued as high as $314 billion. Bezos resigned from Amazon in July of 2021, but he did so in a world where his drones are delivering packages and his website owns the holiday season. Despite quite a few controversies, that little garage company has gone on to change the world as we know it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you to decide. Bezos has also tangled with the Washington Post, the shoe company Zappos, Twitch, and many other investments. I imagine he'll probably make an offer on the earth at some point if the Disney Corporation hasn't beat him to it. As far as Elon's corporate life goes, it wasn't quite the same rocket ship to the top as Jeff's was. In 1995, he was one of the founders of what would come to be known as Zip2. It was one of the many companies that helped adjust the world to the internet age by linking advertisers and users. Then, in 1999, he founded X.com, which eventually merged into PayPal. Musk was ousted in 2000, but still made $100 million when eBay purchased PayPal. So I say it worked out in the end. In 2003, he joined Tesla Motors, a company focused on building electric cars. Musk eventually became CEO, and after a few major bumps in the road, led the company to launching the Roadster in 2008. It was the first all-electric car that ran on lithium-ion battery cells. Today, Tesla is worth $33 billion and has completely changed the future of the auto industry. He's also got ventures going like Solar City, Tesla Energy, Neuralink, and The Boring Company that are all big sci-fi concepts made real. Well, hopefully real one day if the technology comes through. Musk has certainly made sure the 21st century feels as exciting and futuristic as we all hoped it would before the millennium. But is it enough? Why don't you ask Barnes & Noble, eBay, and now even Walmart what it's like to try and compete with Amazon? Yeah, no matter how cool Tesla may be, there's absolutely no way this is even fair. In this fight, Bezos is less Lex Luthor, so much as he is Thanos, with all the Infinity Stones throwing a moon called Amazon at Musk's Tony Stark. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1 and began a space race with the United States until 1975, when Neil Armstrong dropped a foot on the moon. Nowadays, the space race is less about two competing superpowers, as much as it is about billionaires who want to make real life into science fiction. First, we have SpaceX. This is Elon Musk's $100 billion company that seeks to reduce the cost of space travel. Hopefully, the end goal of this company would be to travel to Mars. Well, the end goal is probably to establish Elon's Martian empire, but that's probably not for a few more decades. The company manufactures launch vehicles, rocket engines, spacecraft, and satellites. They've had several highlights over the years that people obsessed with space travel have been talking about non-stop. First, they launched the premier privately funded liquid propellant rocket to reach orbit with Falcon 1's 2008 ascent. Then they launched and recovered Dragon in 2010. They sent Dragon to the International Space Station in 2012. They have been getting better and better at sending astronauts into space and retrieving them. Right now, they are working on something called Starship, a reusable, super heavy lift launch system that could hopefully achieve interplanetary spaceflight. Starship gave them trouble with several failed attempts until it landed successfully in 2021. The company has also furthered the popularity of space tourism, otherwise known as paid flights by civilians to the stars. Their biggest goal they're working towards right now is sending humans to Mars for the first time in history. Musk is confident that he will have boots on the red planet by 2026. Probably the thing this company has achieved above all else is making the idea of humans traveling to space cool again. It's even taken over 2/3 of NASA's launches. Most people probably don't know this, but the Jeff Bezos founded Blue Origin actually predates SpaceX by 2 whole years. It also was founded with the interest of making space travel level expensive, though with a lot less focus on landing on Mars. Despite many setbacks and delays, it successfully flew its first crewed mission on July 20th, 2021. It has its eyes set on the space tourism industry but isn't selling tickets quite yet. Jeff Bezos, William Shatner, and Michael Strahan have all had trips to space with a huge amount of press surrounding each launch. While Mars is what's on Elon's mind, Bezos is more focused on returning to the moon. In 2019, he revealed his plans for Blue Origin and its Blue Moon lander to be ready to go by 2024. They hope to put humans on the moon again for the first time since December of 1972. While Blue Origin is definitely starting to pick up steam, this one is no contest. Both SpaceX's accomplishments and their ambitions exceed Origin's in every way. This is a no-brainer point for Elon. So let me tally up those points. It seems like we have a tie. Why don't we use the standard tiebreaker competition? The first one to bribe me with $1 billion wins. I'll be waiting. Mark Zuckerberg is only worth $97 billion. He's got no space program, no car companies, and no giant clocks. It's like he's not even trying.